Alright guys, here we are today at 6338 West Sunnyslope Lane. As you can see, we have the beautiful home here right in front of us. And then I want to go ahead and take a quick look at this really nice, well-kept neighborhood all around, you can see. So this is a super nice and quiet neighborhood. And also I want to point out how much land you get with these homes. I mean, you can see how big of an area you have up front. You can really do whatever you would like with it. Have some games out here, some chairs, some really cool seating areas. So I mean, there's a lot of potential, to create and make it your own space. So let's go ahead and take a step on inside. And then you step right into a beautiful fireplace right there in front of us, but we're actually going to save that for just a few minutes. And if you step over to the right, you have a really nice size, maybe like secondary living area, like a family room, or you could even make this your dining area right off of the really cool kitchen. Now, I love these cabinets because they're almost like maybe like a wine red color, and it really accents the room. It makes it look even bigger in here, even though this is already a really nice size kitchen. And then you can see you also get a door to the backyard, but we're actually going to use the door right there in just a few minutes to show you guys the backyard. But you can see you get your stovetop, the sink, and then these huge windows. I mean, it's a very, very cloudy day, and you can see it's still letting in a massive amount of light here. And then behind us, we're going to have the laundry room, but you also have a ton of space here behind the door as well, with some built-in shelving. And then obviously, your washer dryer would go right here. So a really nice sized laundry room, which is going to be right off of your 2-car garage. But you can see you get a nice side door here. And then of course the garage itself as well. And then you get some built-in cabinets. And then over here, you're actually going to have a really nice sized storage area as well. You got your water heater in here. So you have a ton of extra space in there. If you needed more space than you already have here in this massive 2-car garage, you can have that. And then also we just left the door cracked just to help get some extra light in here since it is such a cloudy day. We'll go ahead and close that behind us. So let's step back through the kitchen. We're gonna pass up this door here, and you get this really cool look-through area. So you can see through to the fireplace, to the main living area. So come around here, and as you can see, you have these really tall vaulted ceilings. So the camera isn't really picking it up too well, but I mean, at the highest point, that's easily probably 13, 14 feet maybe. So I mean, that is way, way up there. So let's go ahead and take a step out of these really cool double doors that we have out into the back, and as you can see, you get a beautiful covered patio area. And then of course it's going to wrap around over here as well, because one of the themes of this home is just how much open space you're going to get, so the backyard really plays into that theme. As you can see, I mean, the backyard goes all the way down there. You get a ton of space. If you have some bigger dogs, or a big family, like to have some parties, you're gonna have a ton of space for all of that out here. And it's also gonna be a really low maintenance landscaping, so you're not gonna have to worry about a ton of different plants or things like that to keep upkept. It's gonna be a relatively low maintenance landscaping. So we're back to the front door, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start heading down this hallway. And if you take a quick left, you're actually into the first guest bedroom. You can see a really nice sized window, as well as just a really nice sized room overall. So these windows are going to be facing the front of the home. And then of course you get a 2-door closet over here as well with the sliders, some built-in shelves and hanger racks as well. And then we're going to skip this right here. We're going to continue to come down the hall, and you actually have some really nice built-in storage closets here. As well as right here, you have another hidden little closet area as well. So if we step over here, this is almost kind of a copy of the first bedroom. So it's going to be another guest bedroom. So again, of course, you get your big window, You get the really nice sized closet over here as well. Additionally, you get this beautiful carpet as well. You know, of course, the fresh paint runs all throughout the home. And then again, you'll be facing out the front of the home. And then over here at the end of the hall, you're actually going to have your full guest bathroom. So you can see you get the beautiful walk-in shower, the nice countertop, and the sink vanity as well. So this is a really nice guest bathroom to have. And then over here, we're going to have these cool double doors that are actually opened up all the way. And you'll step into a massive primary bedroom. So you can see you get the mirrored slider over there as well. And then a huge window facing out of the back of the home. So here you can actually obviously have a view out into your backyard. And then if you step here, we have a really cool feature I've actually never seen before. So it's a little slot in the wall that goes into the closet. So I imagine maybe you put like your hamper there, so you know you got dirty clothes. You don't even have to worry about opening a closet door. It's almost like a little like clothes chute or something like that. So it's a really cool additional touch to the home. And then of course up here we have the beautiful almost wine red, just like the kitchen cabinetry, as well as this huge additional counter space. And then of course another walk-in shower, and you get a nice cool window to let some extra light in. So that's going to be about it for the tour of this home, guys. If you have any questions, you know, you want to schedule a tour to come see it for yourself, you want to apply, you can do that all through our website on rpmphoenixvalley.com. Thank you guys for touring with me.